Hello and welcome to the daily reading with Oni, and this is Oni right here. This is the bunny right here. What's interesting about today's reading is I drew justice again, and because there are two patterns that are going on. First, it's judgment, and now it's justice. So it looks like we're looking at somebody's injustice, because I did draw it upside down, even though this deck specifically doesn't call for reversals. The Rider-Waite deck actually does count reversals, and the justice upside down means injustice. So I find that pretty interesting that we're looking at that, at the additional meaning to the card. I think the additional meaning to the card is somewhat geared to the reversal of the Rider-Waite decks, or any tarot decks that do reversals, but it's not exactly like it. Not really. Okay. Let's get a reminder of what the card says. Justice. Take the time to review the details carefully. So, again, that has to do with evidence when it comes to justice or law cases, and make sure the investigation was done justly and not rushed or anything. And since it was in reverse, it looks like it was and needs to be looked at again. Again, it does remind me of my friend's case. I'm just going to call him my friend. You will win in the end. So they're saying you will win in the end, meaning you will be rewarded. This will actually help them. It's not going to hinder them at all in any way to gather this information and to expose it. Fair and objective decisions. Again, that is gearing towards that case that since it was in reversal, perhaps it wasn't treated fairly to begin with. Alright, get this in this little card holder right here. Now let's go see what the booklet has to say. This is a time when it's important to stick to your principles. Stress that your opinions are correct, and time will make that evident to everyone. Don't allow others to talk you out of your beliefs or priorities. In other words, if you have a hunch that the case was, or the evidence wasn't perceived in the correct way, or it wasn't investigated correctly, they're telling you to follow that hunch because you are on the right path. Don't allow others to talk you out of it. Remember to be impartial and objective when asked to make choices that involve other people. Of course, there are other people involved. However, objectively must also be countervailed with compassion. Make sure your heart is in the right place and don't go attacking people that may be innocent and just looks guilty. It's really not you to judge. It's just you gathering up evidence and asking the appropriate questions that need to be asked. When this card is drawn, you can be assured that situations will turn out in your favor or in their favor, as with my friend. Your side will be seen clearly in mediation, legal rulings, and decisions made by those in power. So hopefully those in power are not corrupt, like the case sounds like in the reversal sense, even though I do have the card in upright. But we're talking about the Rider-Waite deck, not this particular deck. Our fairy twins stand before Excalibur, the legendary sword of King Arthur. This sword was known to only avail those who were worthy and true of heart. Oh, that's the Excalibur right there. Yeah, I said this was Excalibur in the previous video, but that's not Excalibur. This is Excalibur right here. Okay? Alright, let's check out the additional meaning of the card like I was saying. Becoming clear on your goals. Being an advocate for the truth. So you are going to be an advocate towards the truth. And you're basically their advocate. Because they're either not able to speak for themselves. It could be something even as like speaking for a child that doesn't have much of a voice. Fair and objective judgments. Make well thought out decisions. Make sure that you are making the correct choices. You gotta tread lightly on cases that have been injustice cases, meaning they weren't treated fairly, the investigation was rushed, or something's wrong there, because there are dangerous people. If they were willing to hush them, for example, these people are dangerous, and you may be, pulling the brave card, but you got to be smart about it. You can't you can't say stuff like in public and stuff. It should be probably around enclosed areas, even though your heart is in the right place. You got to stand up for what's right. Yes, absolutely. Carefully reviewing documents before signing them. Now that reminds me of a particular document that was addressed in this case, and it didn't look like the person's signature, so it's possibility that is exactly what it's talking about. And since it was in reversal, it's stating that it wasn't his signature, or that the person who signed it was out of it somehow, or that they weren't right. All right, well, that's it. My house is very busy, and the the door must have opened at least 5 times since I've been on here. So have a good day, and blessed be. Talk to you tomorrow.